Alrighty, I'm doing a weekly, like a Sunday analysis, like what we can look forward to for the week. These are not always perfect, but it's nice to have a plan to figure out how you're going to evaluate and look at price for the week. So you just kind of prepare yourself on a Sunday for the rest of the week. First off, Monday is a holiday, so we're not trading on Monday. Why do we not trade on Mondays? Because the volume on a Monday is really not great. There's not much going on. Two, there are some systems, like if you're on a prop firm, or some brokers will not let you trade at a certain time. So altogether, since there's a holiday on the 15th, there's no need for us to trade on the day. So we just take this day off. You can always look at charts, play around. At the end of the day, you have the demo trade where you can enter in with fake money. So you're never going to, lose money that way. But all in all, it's a good idea not to actually trade on a Monday. Tuesday looks good, meaning that we have no actual red or high impact news. This can be a good or a bad thing, especially coming off of a holiday on Monday. And Friday, we had that CPI news at 8:30 last week. Then coming into Wednesday, we have no red folder news for Wednesday, but there is news for Canada. Those don't really affect us, but it's just nice to be mindful of those things. Then Wednesday is the big day. FOMC is a huge meeting. This really shifts the market tremendously. Their meetings are always had on a Wednesday, I think once a month, I think, but it's always had on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's always red. It's not. It's always red folder depending on who's speaking. And since they've changed guards, I don't know exactly if Powell is still speaking or if the new guy is speaking. But whatever trades we do, we're gonna want to do it 7 a.m., 8:30, 9 a.m. maybe, and then definitely be out before lunch, before 11:30 Eastern on that Wednesday. Moving over to Thursday, we've got unemployment claims. Sorry for these text messages. Unemployment claims popping up at 8:30. So we probably trade 7 a.m., but we wouldn't trade 8 o'clock, and then we trade 9:30. And then Friday, I think this is Friday. Yeah, this is Friday. We've got 8:30 news. I'd probably trade the 7 a.m., and I probably would wait. If a position presented itself after 9:45, then I would trade. So that would be the way I look at news. Now looking at the actual market, I'm on the weekly view right now. And so looking at the entire week, we see that price, I mean, for the most part, has been in this nice rise. But if I'm putting my attention specifically to this area right here, I'm going to note that this is a high and a lower high, and this is a low. And I'm predicting, just based on what I'm looking at in the candles, that we're probably going to try and go lower. Granted that price opened up lower than, so gray candle means price is going down. Price opened up here and closed down here for the last week. For this week, we have opened up beneath the close of the previous candle, so we could be aiming down. I'm cognizant of that because we might be aiming for these lows here, but I'm also paying attention to these sort of displacements or these areas here where volume could eventually come up. But realistically, this is such a longer distance than this distance right here. So it might be more beneficial for price to come down here before it goes up. All right, I'm gonna drop down to the daily chart. And so now we're looking at each candle from a daily perspective. And if I'm looking at the chart from the daily perspective, then I'm kind of looking at a pattern here, and I'm seeing this low, I'm seeing this high, I'm seeing a higher low, I'm seeing a higher high slightly, a higher low, a higher high, a lower low because it's lower than this one, but I see this higher high up here. Maybe this is a little bit of a higher high, maybe this is definitely a lower high, excuse me, a higher high from here, a lower high, and definitely this lower low compared to this one right here. So I'm suspecting we'd want to go a little bit lower because we're making lower lows and we're making lower, we're making lower highs and we're making lower lows. So if this is the last peak up here, that if I look to my left was just right here, which is cool, and price has now pivoted down, and price has not yet gotten all the way down here. So I'm waiting for price to come down here, maybe take it out, and then pivot back up. That's what I'm looking at. Then I'm gonna look at gaps, and realistically, there is a gap right here. So that's a gap right there. So price could essentially come in there, come back down. I'm not great with technical analysis, but I do love to look at the charts and figure some things out. These are some relatively equal highs, kind of, or just one pivotal high up here. But price could come for this gap before it goes down, all the way down here. It's technically closer to this gap. It might tip into it before it goes back down. We have some like gaps up here, some displacement that hasn't been filled up. This gap here was filled already. Yeah, so we're good on that one. And I have no gap up here, but I do have, let me see. Yeah, we have this space here. I don't know how else to say it. There's just this. It's not really a gap per se. But then again, candle wick has wicked into it, so maybe that's no longer considerable. Okay, so I see this, I notice this gap here. So I'm going to be mindful to see if the gap gets filled during pre-market or overnight, which from 8 something to 9 something, 100 points. I'm not sure if it'll move that much, but I'm just going to watch it and see what happens tomorrow morning. I'm not trading tomorrow morning. This is now the 4-hour gap, and if I want to, I can actually stretch it out. Let's see, up here, kind of sort of using the 4 a.m. So if this price has gone into this gap, then my prediction about price coming down lower might actually make sense, all the way down to where this is over here. And then looking again at the market, kind of giving a good view, just looking mainly at like this area right here. We can see that we're making a high, a lower high, a lower high. We're making a low, a lower low, a lower low, but then again we have this higher low here. So I don't know what price is going to do here. I realized, clearly this is some sort of consolidation that took place between, let's see, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, for the whole week, pretty much. Price was indecisive, then it dropped. Because initially, when price was like over here, on Sunday night, when I did my last analysis, I was like, yeah, we're going up. It was beautiful. But then as the week played out, it's clear that price just consolidated there. Oops. So now we don't really know what price wants to do. I'm gonna remove this. Yeah. So we're watching. This gap price is tucked in that typically you expect price to come away like halfway into this space if it's able to before it reverses back down. So obviously we're just watching because it's a Sunday. There's no trade happening anyways. So we're just looking at that. And then I'm going to drop down to the hourly. And I like looking at the hourly for a few reasons. One, it's not the hourly. I like doing this because you get to see price in different scales. You're still looking at the same chart, but you're obviously looking at the candles in a different way. And so, like, I think about this high right here. whether it's like a buy side, if I expect price to go above that at some point. I look at price down here, and again, just using logic, price is technically closer to this than it is closer to that. That's just how I see it there. And again, that same consolidation that I pointed out earlier, you kind of see it happening around here. If we're really talking shop, we can kind of say these are some relatively equal highs up here. So price could come up, go down, take that down there. Price could also, and I think, now that I'm looking at it, because I'm just looking at it as I'm talking, there's a gap right here. And price is attracted to gaps and liquidity. So it could either go down, go up, go up. It could, I can see it going into this gap right here, going into it, maybe even going past it, coming back down, and then going up at some point. I have no super clear answer on that. This could also be some sort of a high as well, depending on how well price moves. Where is it? And price would have the opportunity to either come down here before it goes up, or go all the way up here and before it comes down. Ultimately, it's closer down here than it is to up here and up here, just where it is right now. But once we start looking at price and we sort of see, what time is it? I'm gonna draw the 1800 line to mark Asia. I'm also going to click at the bottom here and go to regular trading hours. I'm looking for a gap. I don't really see any. Electronic trading hours. Looking for a gap. Is this right? Yep. I personally don't see any. But I will take a line and I'm gonna mark at 1800 where price opened. Price opened right there. New week open. And I'll take another one and put it right above. New week close. And then I'm gonna wait and see what midnight does. Somewhere over here. And see what the opening price looks like over there, and the closing price. And I'm gonna go to the weekly, reset the chart, and I'm gonna look for previous. Oh, what I like to look for. Well, this is me just drawing too much, but this is Friday, previous day, high. Previous day high, and previous day low. Previous day low. So basically, I'm giving myself a range. I say price is here right now. So this is previous day, and I can also go back to the week, look at previous week, and just say, look, how high, how low does price have to go compared to the week prior to it? When I go to the day, this is forming for, this is Tuesday. I guess it's already accounting for the fact there's no holiday. I mean, there's a holiday. So when I look at the Friday, I look to see how high and how low the candle got and then determine what price is willing to do here. And again, price opened up here, closed down here. This one opened above and closed. And this one here as opened beneath. It's not yet closed because it's a working candle, so it has a potential to come down. And that's going to be my weekly analysis here. And let's see what happens starting on Tuesday, since we're not trading Monday market.